אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומנעים שבט אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומנעים שבט אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומנעים שבט אחים גם יחד. Shabbat Shalom, Temple B'nai Or, and all of our wonderful guests joining us tonight in this very special Shabbat. It is with an infinite sense of gratitude and joy that we join in prayer tonight through song, reflection, story of women. This special program has been bringing us inspiring moments of courage, honesty, openness, vulnerability, and hope for 5 years. Together, we share with the women who will lead us in strength and wisdom. I pray that each one of us participating awakens. May our eyes open to see, our ears to listen, and may we be inspired to engage in dialogue that will shed more light on the conversation of honoring and empowering women's voices and leadership in the 21st century. As is our custom, I invite you to wish each other a Shabbat Shalom in the chat box. You are invited to share a moment, a memory, a reflection from past years. And if you've never attended this Shabbat before, share your hopes of the upcoming 75-ish minutes, which we are about to share. I am humbled and privileged to have learned from and with so many of you over the years. The stories I've learned from all of you have sparked more wonder and more questions than I have ever imagined. The special program has awakened a passion I didn't know I would come to care for so much. We have been creating a tight-knit community in separate Zoom rooms for almost a year now. I hope you can feel comfortable to turn your cameras on, to be present, and to participate. The silver lining of our virtual space tonight has made it possible for us to share this moment with guest artists from all over the US and the world. And I'm going to say hi to Chuck in Texas. I'm deeply honored to invite our sisterhood leadership and all of you to bring light into our homes by lighting our Shabbat candles together. Oh, hear our prayer, we sing to you. Be gracious to the ones we love, and bless them with goodness and mercy and peace. Oh, hear our prayer to you. Let us light these lights and see the way to you, and let us say Amen. Let us light these lights and see the way to you, and let us say Amen.
Sisterhood exists, and it is truly powerful. It's the strength of a united force, one that's immediate with the women you surround yourself with, and one that's universal with your sisters from around the world.
Sisterhood creates a space of nourishment and love, a place to celebrate your everyday joys and triumphs, and one to hold one another when joy seems far away. Sisterhood is where you are supported when you are at your most vulnerable. It's a space to listen and to be heard, for both the laughter and where you ask for help.
Sisterhood is surrounding yourself with women whose energy ignites your spirit, a space to grow and flourish. It is listening without judgment, without needing to give advice. It is allowing women to be beautifully real and fearlessly be themselves.
Sisterhood exists, and it is truly powerful. It's a force that, when it's awakened, has the power to heal both one another and the world around us.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר קידשנו במצוותיו וציוונו להדליק נר של שבת.
Shabbat Shalom. 90-something% of Jewish sacred literature since the days of Moses until today has been written by men. But since the days of Moses until today, half the Jewish population has been women, or not men. There's a lot of catching up to do, and therefore a lot of listening for me to do, a lot of listening for all of us to do. To be a Jewish man for the last generation and today is to make space. In Hebrew, it's called tzimtzum. It's what it's used, this word tzimtzum, in the mystical tradition to describe how God retracted to allow the world to be. For there to be a true partnership of all genders, all identities, humility is required. For our Jewish life to be truly full, we need all voices. That means that one kind of voice, the tradition, is only part of the truth. My Jewish sister's experience of life is different than mine, different than the great Rabbi Akiva, different than Moses. Their Torah today is adding to the definition of Torah, a Torah of inclusion, a Torah of egalitarianism, a Torah of shleimut, of wholeness. Just because there have been women rabbis and cantors for almost 50 years in America does not mean that the patriarchy has been dismantled. Women who are Jewish professionals still make less money than their male colleagues. When many of us think of what a Jew looks like, we think of a guy with a beard. When we think of Jewish music, we think of our grandparents' scratchy cantoral records. We don't think of Debbie Friedman. Maybe some of us do, and that's progress. When we ask children about God, though, they often still think of an old man in the sky. Our cantor has created this night of prayer and song to change this paradigm. I pray that the men among us open our ears a little more and with humility and partnership and allyship, join in with our sisters in learning their Torah.
Eshet Hayil Mi Yimsa, a woman of valor from Proverbs 31:10, is traditionally chanted at the Shabbat dinner table by the husband to his wife. This mythological woman never rests, clothes her children, feeds her husband and kin, is expected to complete all domestic chores, and prepare Shabbat. How beautiful that the husband actually recognizes his wife for her tireless efforts and hard work through song. One could remark, is that all? Just a recognition by the husband through song? Perhaps that was all in the past, but today, women are becoming honored for their merit and tireless efforts of trying to be heard. Just picture the canary yellow coat and ruby red headband donned by a young woman of color, standing on the dais, reciting a resounding poem with boundless words for the 46th President of the United States of America. How far we have come. Now households honor the valor of a woman so that both adults in the home can identify themselves through a career while fitting domestic life as a shared endeavor. How far we have come that both adults in the house participate in the child rearing and both have the responsibility of preparing the sacredness of Shabbat, that an expectation does not lie with the woman to carry the work while the husband can chant for her a song of praise. How far we have come that now a woman of color is second in command, leading our country. While we have come so far, we still have a long journey ahead to entirely recognize women's equality. I pray that my daughters will continue to explore all that is available to them as young girls and in the future as women. I pray that they, along with all other young girls and women, will sing to each other with strength and confidence that they are women of valor and the world is a music staff for them to go as high as they dream. Tonight, in lieu of the traditional biblical text of Eshet Chayil, we offer a contemporary poem to expand the conversation of women's definition of expression. May our voices be heard as we continue to expand our boundaries and create new ones together. Phenomenal Woman by Maya Angelou. Pretty women wonder where my secret lies. I'm not cute or built to suit a fashion model size, but when I start to tell them, they think I'm telling lies. I say it's in the reach of my arms, the span of my hips, the stride of my step, the curl of my lips. I'm a woman phenomenally. Phenomenal woman, that's me.
I walk into a room just as cool as you please, and to a man, the fellows stand or fall down on their knees. Then they swarm around me, a hive of honeybees. I say, it's the fire in my eyes and the flash of my teeth, the swing in my waist and the joy in my feet. I'm a woman phenomenally. Phenomenal woman, that's me.
Nancy, you're muted. Nancy, you're muted.
Men themselves have wondered what they see in me. They try so much, but they can't touch my inner mystery. When I try to show them, they say they still can't see. I say, it's in the arch of my back, the sun of my smile, the ride of my breasts, the grace of my style. I'm a woman, phenomenally, phenomenal woman, that's me.
Now you understand just why my head's not bowed. I don't shout or jump about or have to talk real loud. When you see me passing, it ought to make you proud. I say it's in the click of my heels, the bend of my hair, the palm of my hand, the need of my care. 'Cause I'm a woman phenomenally. Phenomenal woman, that's me.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei
transition from Kabbalat Shabbat, welcoming the Shabbat, into Ma'ariv part of the service with a contemporary poem by a national Israeli poet, Leah Goldberg. Her words prepare us for prayer through recognizing the beauty all around us. Following this poem, if you are able and wish to, you may rise for the Baruch Hu, our call to worship, which will immediately follow.
Teach me, O God, a blessing, a prayer
on the mystery of a withered leaf,
unripened fruit so fair, on the freedom to see, to sense, to breathe, to know, to hope, to despair. Teach my lips a blessing, a hymn of praise. As each morning and night you renew your days, bless my days be as the one before. Blessed routine, set my ways. Laveni Elohai, Yitpalel, lamed and sisterhood, bracha v'shir halel, lamdeni Elohai, Yitpalel, lamed and sisterhood, bracha v'shir halel.
Come all of you, come all of us, and bless the one who blesses. Come all of you, come all of us, and bless the one who blesses. Do-do-do,
Blessed is the blessed one, blessed is the giver of blessing, blessed in this moment now and every now to come.
Blessed is the blessed one, blessed is the giver of blessings, blessed in this moment now and every now to come. Come all of you, come all of us, and bless the one who blesses. Come all of you, come all of us, and bless the one who blesses.
Umavdil ben yom uven laila, Adonai tzivot shemo, Elachai v'kayam, Tamid yimloch aleinu leolam va'ed, Baruch atah Adonai, Hamarim v'aravim.
Just little pimples.
Hillary? Can't hear you. Hillary, we can't hear you.
Hillary, we can't hear you, unfortunately. She can't hear us.
Okay. All right. I will read what she's reading because it's too bad. This is what Hillary wrote. Mi chamocha va'elim Adonai. Who is like you, Adonai? These words we have taken into our daily prayers are taken right out of this week's dramatic and powerful Torah portion. In the midst of the Exodus story, the Israelites cross through the sea in dry land and transform into a free people. We have adopted these words as a constant reminder to dwell on the importance of freedom. Miriam, the prophetess, tonight's hero, takes the timbrel in her hand and invites everyone to join her in song and dance. I'm speaking for Hillary. Dance is a powerful language of human expression. It creates an energy flow in our own bodies and helps us connect to one another in an unspoken way. For me, Hillary, yoga practice has helped to open parts of both my body and my mind.
Miriam, the prophetess,
creating space on a physical and emotional level, the path to freedom, freedom to move, freedom to be, freedom to act in a way that just fits and feels right.
flow in our own bodies and helps us connect to one another.
When we give ourselves this space and honor our needs, it opens the door for others to do the same. To me, this is the ultimate human connection. You need to move to be able to feel, and you need to feel in order to move. Movement is a language, a conversation which creates connection to ourselves and others. Sometimes that conversation, like movement, can be uncomfortable. But if we stick with it and stay true to ourselves, this is our key to freedom on every level. To celebrate these verses of Torah and truly feel a sense of freedom, we are invited to join in dance with Ruth, who will lead us to the sounds of Miriam's song, sung by a contemporary Jewish prophetess, composer, Debbie Friedman, whose 10th yahrzeit is Shabbat Shira. We join in song and dance. Ruth, bevakasha.
The tapestry she wove was one which sang our history. With every thread and every strand she crafted her delight. A woman touched with spirit, she dances toward the light. And the women dancing with their timbrels followed Miriam as she sang her song. Sing a song to the one whom we've exalted. Miriam and the women danced and danced the whole night long. The she sang with praise and might. We've just lived through a miracle. We're going to dance tonight. And the women dancing with their timbrels followed Miriam as she sang her song. Sing a song to the one whom we've exalted. Miriam and the women danced and danced all night long. And the women dancing with their timbrels followed Miriam as she sang her song. Sing a song to the one whom we've exalted. Miriam and the women danced and danced all night long.
Hashkevenu Adonai Eloheinu L'Shalom. We ask God to watch over us, shelter us, and guard us as we sleep through the darkness of night, so that we may rest peacefully and wake up restored. Comfort, peace, and a sense of protection, all feelings any mother would want for her children as they fall asleep. When my kids were young, we, like most parents, had a bedtime routine for our children that consisted of a warm, soothing bath, wrapping them in soft pajamas, and enjoying a few calming picture books together. After placing them in their cribs or later having them climb into their beds, I'd sit on the floor in the middle of their room in the darkness while they resisted falling asleep. In my own way, this was how I helped them feel comforted and sheltered as the unknown darkness of night surrounded them. Over the years, as we moved from picture books to chapter books, I no longer read from the floor in their room, but instead by the light of a flashlight from the dark hall just outside. I no longer waited for them to fall asleep, but instead peacefully told them I loved them and wished them a good night as I closed the book and headed downstairs as they drifted off to sleep. A ritual that helped them settle their minds, push away their worries, and allow peace and love to surround them as they were wrapped in their warm blankets. All feelings every child needs. All feelings every woman also needs as she falls asleep with thoughts of the day on her mind, thoughts of her family, her community, her world. God is watching over all of us while we sleep and wrapping us in a blanket of love and protection throughout the dark night so we can rest and restore our souls.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu L'Shalom Hamidenu Shamreinu L'Chaim Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu L'Shalom Hamidenu Shamreinu Ufros Aleinu Sukkot Shalom Lecha V'taknenu B'etzat Jehovah Milpanei
Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם ביני ובין בני ישראל אות היא לעולם כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ וביום השביעי שבת vayinafash. In learning to chant these familiar words to a tune that was new to me, I've been wondering what new truths I can unearth in the meaning behind them. Beyond participating in Shabbat prayer, what could it mean for each of us to keep Shabbat? Perhaps it is to locate the seat of our prayers, our innermost voice, the place in our bodies where the songs of Shabbat originate. But looking over the Torah portion this week, I found another possibility. After the Israelites crossed the sea, Miriam gives space for the women in her community to dance together as a collective group of worshipers. Miriam seems to answer a larger question. How can we worship and act as an us, as a commanded community? Maybe providing affinity spaces and taking an active role in prayer and celebration is another way we keep Shabbat, not as individuals, but as a community. And what does it mean to refresh oneself? Looking once again to Miriam, a source not only of movement, but of water, I wonder in what ways the water flows within and from each of us. It seems as though to be a commanded community is also to refresh ourselves by refreshing others. In this way, the private prayer that we are about to move into requires our attention to turn simultaneously inward and outward.
We continue with the Amidah, a section of prayers that invite us to rise and take a moment to become grounded in our bodies by way of the breath. As Shabbat is a time when we give ourselves permission to take a pause from the busyness of life. We begin with the breath because it is the most essential source of life, always with us. The first thing we do when we are born and the last thing we do before we expire. By connecting to the breath, we restore our life force when it feels depleted. We provide a salve to the anxious mind. When we connect to the breath, it is the doorway to our highest, truest self, the divine within. Whether you are seated or standing, please become aware of your feet, rooted on the ground. Slowly inhale. Imagine you are taking that groundedness up to your heart. And as you exhale, imagine your heart becomes pure and free. Each individual breath is ephemeral. The pathway of connecting the mind to the body, to the spirit is continuous, and breath is the legs on which we journey along that path. Taking just one step, one breath, mindfully, purposefully, becomes a step toward not only a more relaxed state of mind, but a higher sense of self, that which is above the chaos and stress of daily life. It helps to remember that it is all only temporary. So, take a breath. Slowly breathe in through your nose. Feel your belly expand and your heart fill. And as you slowly exhale, allow your lips to part. Notice how you feel as you allow your body to be breathed. Notice with compassionate curiosity, not judgment. Sometimes the body feels tight or tense and the breath does not feel free, and that's okay. Just the intention of focusing on the breath, of slowing it down and trusting that intention is enough. We are enough exactly as we are in this moment. And so we breathe. Adonai sifatai tiftach Feeling the ebb and flow of inhale and exhale is a honing of our spiritual relationship between inner selves and our surroundings.
לב טהור, ברא לי אלוהים, ברוח נכון, חדש בקרבי, אל תשליכני מלפניך, ברוח קודשך, אל תיקח ממני. אל תשליכני מלפניך, ברוח קודשך, אל תיקח ממני. השיבוני ששון ישך, ברוח נדיבה, תשמחני. השיבוני ששון ישך, ברוח נדיבה, תשמחני. אדוני שפתי תפתח, ופי יכיר תהילתך. אדוני שפתי תפתח, ופי יכיר תהילתך. שפתי תפתח, ופי יכיר תהילתך. אדוני שפתי תפתח, ופי יכיר תהילתך. תשמיעני ששון ושמחה, ברוח נדיבה, תשמחני. תשמיעני ששון ושמחה, ברוח נדיבה, תשמחני. לב טהור, ברא לי אלוהים, ברוח נכון, חדש בקרבי, ופי יכיר תהילתך.
Tonight, we chant from the Torah, the Song of the Sea. The Israelites crossed the dry land as the water parts, and so do the words in our scroll. The central verse of our celebrations tonight. ותיקח מרים הנביאה אחות אהרון את הטוב בידה, ותצא כל הנשים אחריה בתופים ובמחולות. Then Miriam the prophetess took a timbrel in her hand, and all the women went out after her in dance and timbrels. In order to fulfill this verse fully, as we bring out our Torah and simulate or pretend or use our imagination what a hakafah would look like in the sanctuary, we join with Reut once again in dancing and enjoy. And if you don't want to get up from your seat, you could at least, she did like also arm things, so you could still dance even if you don't get up from your chair. Use your arms.
פיתחו לי שערי צדק, עפופה מודיה. פיתחו לי שערי צדק, עפופה מודיה. עפופה מודיה, עפופה מודיה. זה היום עשה אדוני, נגילה ונשמחה בו. זה היום עשה אדוני, נגילה ונשמחה בו. נגילה ונשמחה בו, נגילה ונשמחה. פיתחו לי שערי צדק, עפופה מודיה. פיתחו לי שערי צדק, עפופה מודיה. עפופה מודיה, עפופה מודיה.
Thank you so much, Reut. And thank you to all of you who danced in your comfort zone. So in the past, we've invited women to come up for the Aliyah on the Bima. Tonight, for the Aliyah la Torah, I invite anyone and everyone who feels like their seas parted for them this year, that they have been through a journey and perhaps hardship, that they are in deep need of a warm embrace of the healing of this wonderful community. If you feel like this message speaks to you, please unmute yourself right now and rise to lead us in the Torah blessings. And remember to mute yourself back after. Thank you. So together, Baruchu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Natan lanu et Torah. Baruch atah Amen.
אז ישיר משה ובני ישראל את השירה הזאת לאדוני ויאמרו לאמור השיר לאדוני כי גאור גאה סוס ורחמו רמה וים עוזי וזמרתיה והילי ישועה זה ילי ויענהו Elohei aviva arom menhu Adonai ish milchama Adonai shemo Markevot paro Vechelo yara vayam Umivchar shalishav tubur v'yam suf
תהומות וחסיומו, ירדו במצולות כמו אבן. ימינך אדוני נדרי בכוח, ימינך אדוני תירץ אויב. וברוב גרונך תארוז קמך, תשלח הרונך, יוהלמו כקש. וברוח אפיך נרמו מים, נצבור כמו נד נוזלים, קפוא תהמו בלב ים.
אמר אויב, ארדוף פסיק אהלך שלל, תמלאמו נפשי, הרי קרבי, תורישמו על ידי. נשפת ברכך, כיסה מרים, צללו כעופרת, ומים אדירים. מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, נורא תהילות עושה פלא. נטית ימינך, תבלעמו ארץ, נחית בחוסך, עם זוגלת, נהלת בעוזך, אל נווה קודשך.
שמעו עמים ירגזון, חילך יושבי פלשת, אז ניהלו אלופי אדום, עלי מואב יוחזמו רעד, נמוגו כל יושבי חנן.
תיפול עליהם אימתה ופחד בגדול זרוע, ידמו כאבן עד יעבור מאדוני, עד יעבור עמזו קניתה.
תביאמו ותטעמו בהר נחלתך, נכון לשבתך. פעלת אדוני מקדש, אדוני כוננו ידיך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד.
Together again, blessing after the reading of Torah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher And in the presence of our Torah, we're always, it is our custom to give blessings. So I would like to give a blessing, please, to all of the people who chanted and all of the people that came up for this aliyah. In recent times, we've been on a challenging journey. We acknowledge it has been more so for some of us, but we are blessed as a Jewish community and as a human community facing new and old struggles. May God, who blessed our fathers and mothers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, grant healing to all who have risen here tonight to be blessed in the presence of Torah. May God give them patience, hope, and courage, and may they feel restored to vigor of body and mind. May God endow them with a full life with love, and may God bind up their wounds so that they may know joy and thank God for blessings of health. And together we all say, Amen. And now, as we are grateful for all of the Torah chanters who have been leading us in this Torah reading for years. This year, we couldn't welcome our Israeli Rishonot into our midst, but we welcomed a new Torah chanter who has recently been welcomed into the tribe and therefore came up to chant Torah for the very first time tonight. Tonight we celebrate your official bat mitzvah, your aliyah Torah, Mary Fernandez, and so we would like to bless you at this time. Please rise. What prayers can one bestow on a woman, a leader who has bestowed more blessings and more wisdom on all of us? Mary Fernandez, you have inspired me personally and our entire congregational leadership with your infinite wisdom, your long view vision and resolve to create change, your dedication that has been unsurpassed, and the guidance that you have given to so many of us. Your leadership does not end, though, with marching and leading us on the front line like Miriam. It is also the supportive leadership of the midwives, Shifra and Pua, awake and aware of the importance of holding and embracing to bring others forward. In your presence, I have felt enlightened, supported, listened to. You are both a woman of action who marches us all forward and one who walks in the back, making sure that all the ones who feel weakened are held and feeling embraced. You have blessed us with the beauty of chanting Torah for the first time. I hope that more women will follow in your example. And when we bless our girls, Yasimech Elohim Kesara, Rivka, Rachel, Ve'Leah, may God make you like Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, and Leah. May God make us all like you, Mary, or our biblical Miriam that we celebrate tonight. May you be blessed with the love that you have given to so many so sensitively. May you be blessed with the strength that you empowered or blew into the sails of our souls. May you be blessed with good health, a long life, and may you be inspired as you have inspired.
Mom, there are a few people we can think of who understand what it means to be a daughter of commandment better than you. Throughout our childhood, you strove to raise us in a Jewish home with Jewish values, practicing Jewish traditions, developing your relationship with Judaism alongside ours.
You showed us how to live Jewishly, and you've been a daughter of commandment far longer than a ceremony could attest. Just like your Hebrew namesake Miriam, you have taken every and often unexpected opportunities to lead through your values, whether in supporting education here at Temple or demonstrating the myriad ways to live Jewishly with 18 doors.
With your conversion and now as a bat mitzvah, we are so proud of and grateful for the ways in which you've dedicated your time to this community and to Jewish life.
May you be blessed. May you be safe.
May you be luminous. May you be loved.
May you be joyous. May you be whole.
And we say together in Zoom cacophony, Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam, Shechianu
V'Hikyanu Lasman Hazeh.
Thank God for being alive, sustained, and for reaching this very special moment.
Thank you. Thank you.
I have a progressive, debilitating, and incurable disease. I have become used to it. I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis at age 42. The doctors thought it would be relatively benign. At first, it was. I bought a single-story home and renovated it to accommodate live-in help. I became a single mom at age 44. I found an online group, Northern New Jersey Single Moms with Adopted Children from Guatemala. Who knew? This group of women became my lifeline for the next 8 years. I was forced to stop working at age 45 and to stop driving at age 46. No matter what came my way, I still made it work. Every year from 2001 until 2019, regardless of the physical and or functional changes that occurred, my mantra was always, as long as it stays this way, I can deal with it. 2020 has been the first year where I have felt this really stinks. It has to get better. Well, what if it doesn't? The best thing to result from my multiple sclerosis diagnosis is that Marcy and I were brought together and became the forever family I always wanted. If having multiple sclerosis was a prerequisite to bring Marcy and I together, so be it. It was meant to be, and I would do it again.
Thank you so much, Eileen, for your reflection and sharing your personal story with us. At this time, we think of all of our loved ones who are in need of healing in our community. We think of Charlotte Aberman, Judy Allen, Mark Allen, Marilyn Askin, Joyce Becker, Larry Benson, Judy Blaustein, Margot Blaustein, Claudia DiGisu, Nicholas DiGisu, Ted Fried, Jerry Gundy, Lena Alexandrova Berlovich Hammer, Oliver David Horn, Sheila Karner, Leon Kurland, Joseph Lupkin, Lori Mazzarella, Michael Morrissey, Danny New, Barbara Perrette, Judy Ragona, Bubsy Rifkin, David Rifkin, Eileen Reinfleisch, Charlie Rosenthal, Karen Rousseau, Don Rubin, Barbara Sabiri, Deb Sabiri, Bernice Side, Glenn Switinsky, Marjorie Van Dow, Lisa Wolper, and Edie Weinstein. As always, I invite you to share names of people you are thinking of at this time. We join together singing pretty much the national anthem of the Jewish people, Debbie Friedman, Misha Berach. Misha Berach imotei v'kol habracha lavotei. Those in need of healing with refuah shelema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
In light of the hope of our new leadership and the overwhelming challenges ahead, I offer this prayer adapted from Rabbi Eilat Cohen. May this country be blessed and all who dwell within it. May we experience deeply the blessings of our lives and circumstances. Let us be vigilant, compassionate, and brave. May we be strengthened when we are afraid and channel our anger so that it motivates us to action. Let us feel our fear so that we do not become numb. Strive to be generous with others so that we may raise each other up. Help us to be humble in our fear, knowing that as vulnerable as we feel, there are those at greater risk, and that it is our sacred work to stand with them. Let us taste the sweetness of liberty, to not take for granted the freedoms won in generations past or in recent days. May we heal and nourish our democracy, that it may be like a tree planted by the water, whose roots reach down to the stream. It need not fear drought when it comes. Its leaves are always green. I pray our leaders are guided by righteousness. Their hearts are strengthened to serve us all, that they may use their influence and authority to speak truth and act for justice. May all who dwell in this country share in its bounty, enjoy its freedoms, and be protected by its laws. May this nation use its power and wealth to be a voice for justice, peace, and equality for all who dwell on earth. May we be strong and have courage to be bold in our action and deep in our compassion, to discern when we must listen and when we must act, to uproot bigotry, intolerance, misogyny, racism, discrimination, and violence in all its forms, and celebrate the wondrous diversity of humanity, to welcome the stranger and the immigrant, and to honor the gifts of those who seek refuge and possibility here, as they have since before this nation was born. Let justice well up like waters, and righteousness like a mighty stream.
Thank you, Stacy. And now we're going to lift up the Torah and wrap it up. And I invite you, if you are able, to please rise.
In the Torah, it says that humanity was created in God's image, B'Tselem Elohim. If we think about the meaning of this phrase, it emphasizes that we must treat ourselves and others the way we would treat God. Honor and respect. My passion for Jewish education stems from this place, one that ensures that our children feel connected to the greater world and also feel respected as the unique and powerful individuals that they are. I have made it my goal to provide children with safe environments early in their lives so that they can speak their truth when those moments arrive. Teaching a generation of students to have the courage to use their voices to make change is part of healing this imperfect world. Raising them up, filling them with responsibility, connecting them to Judaism and to one another, brings them and our people toward a more perfect world. May we all have the strength to live our lives as if we are created in the image of God and fulfill our obligation to continue God's work.
In this spirit of exploring God's image in every one of us and within a prayer experience, waiting to awaken, to open our eyes and listen to the voices that may need to be noticed, that may need a call of encouragement to speak up, to lead others, to feel strengthened, to feel loved, to be recognized. We hear one more call to listen. Listen to the future voices that will need to be empowered, the voices that can really change the world. I know what you're thinking. This was just the best thing ever. You're right about that. We transition. In the last musical reflection of the night, we take a moment to lower our heads and nod for the loss of a giant. Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg felt her voice was not heard when she was not counted towards a prayer minyan, a group of 10. She wanted to recite Kaddish to mourn her own mother. She wanted to be counted. The inflexibility of the ancient ways did not permit for her to express herself, sound her voice. Reciting Kaddish for our loved ones is a central and inherent part of our practice. It is a constant reminder that we are who we are in part because of the ones who came before us, raised us, loved us, taught us. Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, who in her entire lifetime taught us that seeking the truth and speaking up for it is not only imperative but necessary. This brilliant star, through her own experience of gender discrimination, fought hard for fairness so that generations who followed her could continue in her footsteps to reach equality. Along her own young journey, she was many firsts. In every step of her young journey, she fought specific discriminatory statutes and built on each successive victory to achieve more and more freedoms.
I'm 17 and Mama's ill. People whisper around her. I'm expected to be brave. I say, I'll try. The day before my graduation, I watched her die.
Gathered in the living room, relatives and neighbors, I expected to stand up and chant the prayer. But the women were forbidden, which felt so unfair. Count me in the minyan, yes, I know the law, 10 men, 10 men. Please don't explain that to me again. She's been my closest friend since I was born, and now, Daddy, I just need to mourn. Please let me stand next to you. Let me say the prayer. But laws can't be broken. They prayed without me, as if I weren't there. My mother nudged me every day. Ruth, you're smart. Keep reading. Not many girls knew Kaddish. I was one of the few. But the faith that I was born with didn't care what I knew. Count me in the minyan. Yes, I know the law. 10 men, 10 men. Please don't explain that to me again. She's been my closest friend since I was born, and now, Daddy, I just need to mourn. Please let me stand next to you. Let me say the prayer. But laws can't be broken. They prayed without me, as if I weren't there. As if I weren't there. As if I weren't there. A daughter's voice is quiet. At the moment it should be heard. Yiskada, Yiskada, Shemei Rabbah.
have tried to be the person who my mother saw, who my mother saw.
Galit, you're muted.
Thank you. Sorry. We want to dedicate another moment to grieve over 400,000 lives lost to COVID this year in this country. We also remember in our community at this time, in the period of Shloshim, Dr. Michael Raskin and Rita Weber. And the yahrzeits this year, the yahrzeits this Shabbat for Alvin Austin, Clara Bornstein, Hyman Brown, Sarah Crimi, Gary Daniels, Ira Dorman, Clara Efros, Milton Finkelstein, Albert Ford, Eleanor Freed, Deborah Lynn Friedman, Gertrude Gannett, Joseph Gingold, Barrett Ginsburg, Irving Golden, Jack Hochberg, Rose Hyman, Sanford Kaplan, Rose Kyle, William B. Kroner, Stanley Levy, Seymour S. Lewis, Kathleen McVicker, Noah Meyerson, Emil Newmark, Gary Platt, Elsie Price, Sanford Rems, Nancy Robinette, Cecilia Rogal, Jacob Silverstein, Frida Simon, Theodore Singer, Edward Sukonik, and Esther Zweig. If there's anybody else at this time you are remembering, please put them in the chat box, and we join together chanting Kaddish. If you are able, you may rise at this time. Together we say, Yitgadal v'yitkadash Shemei Rabbah, Be'alma divrach Hirutei v'yamlich malchutei, B'chayechon uvyomechon, ובחיי דכל בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב, ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעולם ולעלמי עלמיה, יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל, שמי דקודשה בריחו. לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דאמירן בעלמה ואמרו אמן. יהי שלמה רבה מן שמיה וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. To invite back Mary Fernandez, our bat mitzvah of the night, to lead us in Kiddush and Motzi. And I'll just say before you start, Mary, that there are so many wonderful people who contributed to make this possible. All of the women in our B'nai Or community, I cannot thank you enough. You're all wonderful. Of course, I'm thanking Josh Conklin for being the technological genius that he is, and thank you always to Mark, our wonderful beloved music director, and all of our choirs and all of our children and all of this wonderful, wonderful community. Thank you all so very much. Mary, bevakasha, lead us again. I'm here.
Sorry. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava u'ratzon hinhilanu, zikaron lemase v'reshit, Kihu yom tehillah lemikrahe kodesh, seker litzihat mitzrayim, Ivanu v'acharta, ve'otanu kidashta, mikol ha'amim, v'shabbat kodsha, ve'ahava u'ratzon, hinhaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh hashabbat.
Amen. And now you will lead us in motzi. Oh yeah, take a sip first. Show off this challah that magically appeared at my house today.
And my girls, wherever you are, can you please join Daddy and me? Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz, Shabbat Shalom.